Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel.
The pit lane speed
Running
limit is
my
40
first
miles per
road
hour.
race
You're all clear.
for
Stay
week
behind the line.
13. We are
Okay,
here
Jake,
in
we've
a
got 2 laps until a
unofficial,
decent time.
unranked race, GT3 cars at the Watkins Glen International on the cup layout. Thought this would be the perfect way to try GT3 in more of a official but not gonna kill me if it sucks kind of way. Gives me an idea of if I even want to run GT3 for the upcoming season. Probably going to be way off the pace. There's 30 cars in total in this. Did not look to see who's all in what manufacturer. I am in the BMW and going out for qualifying, just completing the warm-up lap. Probably going to be way off the pace. I think in the short practice session I did, I was like a second and a half off the pace. I see at least one name in here that I recognize, one name that I know should be able to get me in qualifying, and probably should be able to get me in the race unless he gets wrapped up in trouble. But it's all about having some fun trying GT3 and seeing what it's like. I did GT3 at USA International on the Oval last week 13, so figured since I saw this at Watkins Glen I would try it. Hopefully going to have some fun with it. Kind of overshot turn 1 there to start.
Just done it.
Watkins Glen is such a high-speed track that you've got to keep the momentum up as much as possible, and I feel like there's a lot of grip in these cars that I am not using, so I just feel like I'm too far off the pace from what I should be doing, but should be a lot of fun to see how I end up in the mix. Kind of downshifted a little bit too soon there into the carousel. I got the thing a little too loose, scrubbed off a bit too much speed. This first lap's not going to be very good. I don't expect either one to be very good, but certainly not going to be good in relation to what I think the optimal is. The optimal, I think, was set on a much colder track, so I don't know if that's really realistic for myself. A very, very, very high 108 or a low to mid 109 is probably where I actually should be.
P18, you're now 1.5 seconds.
18th out of 30 so far. Not sure how many people actually turn time. I'm probably one of the slowest ones.
108.90.
Sounds like pole's somewhere around a 108.9. It's obviously more than a second and a half off of what I've done, but I feel like I could probably cut at least 3/4 of a second off, so I could at least try to close up that gap a little bit. Try to get through the carousel a little bit more efficiently. Still kind of slid it a little bit, but not quite as bad. Sat on the limiter just a little too long in there. Kind of hurt the momentum through. But certainly much better than the last lap was. Pushed it a little too far, thankfully, for the new track limits. That was not an off track. Certainly going to cut off just a little under a second, so like I said, the mid to low 109s is right where I should be. Jump out now before I get too many instant points. Not that the instant points actually matter at all, but gives me a shot to see. That puts me up to 7th on the grid. Right behind the person I thought I'd be running. Well, 2 spots behind. But yeah, not as quick as I thought the entire field would be. I don't know what everybody is in terms of rating. Again, it's not really going to matter. This is all going to be about having some fun. It's going to be a pretty quick race. I want to say we're probably only going to get in 15 minutes. We're probably only going to get, I don't know, 13 laps in maybe? Something like that, 12, 13. So it'll be much more, even quicker than a sprint race would be in the GT3 cars. So certainly will be a pretty quick one. Should be a lot of fun, hopefully. Yeah, should be right around 12, 13 laps, maybe 14 if the leader's pace is that quick. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. Want to see, I didn't even look to see if it was standing or rolling starts. Looks like it is going to be a rolling start, I believe. So, one fast repair, no incident counts, no penalties at all, no DQs. Well, incidents will count, but they won't actually count against anything. It is unofficial, so not going to be any change to iRating or safety rating out of this. Probably going to run at least one official road race for this week. I feel like I'm pretty close to being able to license up to be. So probably gonna whether or not I record it, to be seen. But I believe MX5 Cup is considered official for this week, so may run that to be able to get up there. Yeah, and then hopefully on the oval side, hopefully the plan is to run
That's the end of the session.
both
Seventh position.
Xfinity and Trucks Open at Phoenix. So hopefully, if I can keep both of those clean, I should be able to bump up in license on the oval side as well. So back to A license in oval, and then B license on road. Dirt, I may or may not run one this week. We'll have to see. Not honestly sure about that. So we'll just kind of see how the week goes and go from there. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So we're gonna grid up in 7th. Hopefully, going to enjoy this race a little bit. We got 30 cars, a couple fast cars behind could easily be making their way up through the field. Numbers here don't really actually mean anything in terms of what the iRating is. I just happen to forget to change my number, so that's why I am in car number 12. It's not reflective of where my iRating is in relation to some of these guys, so it should be fun though. Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. Fix setup, no adjustments that you can make to fuel mapping, traction control, ABS, anything like that. So it's, I don't know. I have both the BMW and the Lamborghini. I tested both quickly, and even though I felt slower in the BMW, and it kind of didn't feel quite as on edge like the Lamborghini did, I was turning in faster lap times. So for me, being so new to these, being new to GT3 and road just in general still, I think the one that feels a little more stable is probably the safer option to go with. That's not to say that you can't get the BMW to spin out. You clearly saw me slide it a couple times there in qualifying. That's still very possible. But for me, running around, right now to have the car that's showing to be faster, but also a little bit more stable is I think the better option to go. So
15 minutes. You'll need to get on with this.
Lamborghini probably, if I had learned how to tack a little bit faster, probably would have been quicker, but certainly I think for the limited time of practice and just for having some fun, I think this was the better choice to go with. So yeah, hopefully we can just keep it clean, try to move towards the front. Anything where I'm at or ahead, I will consider to be a big success. Honestly, staying in the top 10 will be a good success. And don't think I have any shot at contending for the win. So just gonna have some fun. Looks like some of the guys that qualified towards the front did not grid. So it looks like we are starting in 5th on the inside row. So yeah, expect to have people banzai dive bomb into turn 1. I expect to probably be taken out on that, but certainly just going to try to do the best that I can. Looks like we've got 2 Mercedes up ahead, Ferrari up ahead, Porsche to the left, Porsche to the left in the 15, Mercedes in the 654 and the 10, I believe that is, and then the I think the
you need to catch up to the guy ahead.
sorry, just playing around with some buttons for a second, trying to see if I can get something fixed for some reason. Not really sure what's going on, but we'll be fine. Yeah, the 070 is a Ferrari, I believe. So, yeah, this should be fun. Like I said, somewhere between 12 and 14 laps. Just going to try to do the best I can, try to keep it as clean as possible. Hopefully get you guys a somewhat decent result, and kind of get a gauge on how I should be able to do in GT3, how much fun it should be if you guys enjoy the video. We are off and rolling. You can see the 10's already cutting down to the inside lane. 15's right behind us. Kind of checked up a little bit more. I'm not sure what happened with the 653 there, but got him on the right-hand side now. Or left-hand side, excuse me. I'm on his right. Run side by side with him through the S's, not always the most advisable. Hopefully they're going to get him ahead of us or be able to clear him before we go into the inner loop. He's working his way in front. Not the best entry through the inner loop, just was trying to get either, like I said, ahead or behind of the 654 and just sort out, so not the worst start. Sorted out 4th. 15's falling back a couple spots. So picking up 1 spot off the start, I will take that. Again, I don't think any of these guys up front I'll have anything for unless they do stuff like the 10 did driving off the track. And I'll probably learn how to push this car a little more as the run goes on as well. But certainly going to play it a little conservative to start just to make sure I don't get into anybody. Don't want to be that guy, even though this really doesn't count for safety rating or I rating. I certainly do not want to be that driver. You see the 654 challenging the 10 up ahead. The 070 is just gone. He's got almost a 2-second lead, or a little over a 2-second lead already. So, looking like at best a 2nd place. Certainly the draft also helping, so could potentially allow me to turn a faster lap time than what I had been on my own in practice. Just have to see. May inflate that number a little bit. 10 shoots a little bit wide out of the inner loop. Of course, this will probably be the road race that I run the cleanest when safety rating doesn't count for anything. But not doing too bad, hanging with them a little bit right now. Should be fun.
The leader has just done a 108.94. That was a 109.44. The guy behind has just done a 109.27.
Certainly not the quickest of the top 5, but you know, I'm just hanging my own, having some fun here. If I have any spurts in between talking, I apologize. It's just me focusing on making sure I hit my marks because I'm still relatively new to watch for what the 6x4 and the 10 are going to do here going into the inner loop. Had to check up a little bit, going to shoot wide. Avoid the 654.
Okay, Jake, you just cut the track.
Not the best run through that. I should have backed up the braking point a little bit more than I thought. Did not expect the 654 to slow down quite as much, and I tried to do the best I could to stay behind him. Brings the 5 closer. We'll see if we can actually get back to the 10 and the 654, or if that's all speed that they've got now. To see if we can also pull away from the 5. Put the throttle a little too early there, out of the last corner. It's going to give the 5 a good run down the front stretch. I assume he's going to look to the inside going into turn 1. Just holding it to the left-hand side. You can hear him on the inside. He's able to get a little better run out of turn 1. That inside line just always ends up kind of getting pinched down there. Felt like I gave him enough room to run it. It just, you can't get the momentum off of it. I would expect him to get a good run down the backstretch here, though, and be able to get by. And there he goes, looking to the right. Try to get him clear. I gave him more than enough room through the inner loop. I had plenty of room behind, so no reason to challenge him that hard when he was clearly much faster. Rather just kind of follow behind him and see if I can catch back up. So about a second to him. 3 seconds to the 654, about another half second up to the 10. Gives me a chance to start running my own lines now, see if I can improve on the time at all. But even a 5th place still will not be a bad race at all.
Sector 1 is 0.9 off the pace. Sector 2
Put
is
the throttle a little too early there, get the off track. Gotta watch that. Even though, again, it really doesn't matter for me. Trying to treat this like an actual road race, so... 3rd of the way down, 5 down, 10 to go. It's like keeping pace, losing a little bit of time to 654 and the 10, but keeping pace with the 5 for right now. Could not cut the car across the curbing the way he was through the inner loop. Every time I did that, it got really upset when I tried to do it, so... It's not something that I was trying to do. I was trying to get a little bit of it, but not quite that far across it. Closed up a little bit on him, a couple tenths that time through that section of the track. Trying to remember to back the braking points up a little bit, be able to get out of the corner a little bit faster, pulling away from the 44 behind, so 5th place seems like a reasonable finish if I don't mess anything up. A little bit better turn 1 that time, able to close up another 10th on him. Pick up a little bit of time on the 654, 10's pulled away though, so... I don't know, maybe we can get a 3rd place out of it. Don't think there's going to be quite enough time, though. If this was a longer race, maybe 25 or 35 minute race, it'd be possible, but certainly in this case, don't think so. That's what happens when I clip that curb that way. It just kind of shoots the car out, so... Thankfully not too much time lost by doing that, but
the gap's now 0.
still able to keep it steady. Not quite to my fastest lap, but that's okay. Closing up on the 5, should be able to give him a good battle. Keeping pace now with the 654. Got a little too far inside there on the curb through that corner. Still trying to learn the right shifting points and hitting those consistently.
Sector 3 is 0.35 off the pace.
Not quite as good that time through turn 1. Slowed down a little bit too much, did not get to the throttle as well, so you can see the 5 was able to pull away that time as we went through the S's.
You're halfway home. Your fuel is fine.
Trying to use the draft though to close back up to him. Oh, did not downshift the way I needed to into the inner loop. That kind of overshot it for me, so that allowed the 5 to pull away a bit and pick up the throttle too early through the carousel. Oh, it's just driving bad now. Now I'm just making stupid mental errors. Keeping pace with the 6 behind, so that part makes me happy. Feel like I'm turning in a bit too early there, but cannot figure out that later entry. Yeah, lost a lot of time to the 5 that lap, so probably halfway down.
Your lap time was 110.45.
Either 6 or 7 laps to go. Losing time now, just not driving as fast. I think the 5's found a rhythm. He's picked up time. So is the 654, so even losing a little bit to the 6, so looking like a 5th place finish, but maybe we'll get lucky. Somebody will have an issue where I can all of a sudden figure out how to drive faster. But if nothing else, just having fun.
Yellow flag.
Car off the track, he gets rolling. That was the 10 that had the issue, so that'll put us into 4th.
2.4.
Also probably closer to the 5 since he had to slow down for it, so yeah, I guess a little bit of a better finish is possible now with that free spot. Assuming that I don't, you know, somehow tank and give it back, which is very possible. Trying to see if I can take a little bit of a later entry, get somewhere. Worried about the draft, but not worried about snaking too much with the 5.
You've just done a 110.49.
A little too much of the curve there, got me a bit too upset. Probably needed to wait just a half second longer to pick up the throttle, and it would have been just fine out of turn 1. But we certainly closed up on him, although lost about a tenth after where we were coming out of the carousel. Trying to take advantage of that draft. You could really see how much picked up on him that time.
5 minutes left.
Thought about getting aggressive going to the inside, just going to wait for a better opportunity than that.
Sector 2 is 0.6.
10's fallen off the map. I think he might have actually just disconnected. In about 3.5 seconds ahead of the 6, so 6 is definitely closing up, but no pressure behind from him. As you heard CrewChief call out 5 minutes ago.
Sector 1 is quick. Sector 2 is 0.8 off the pace.
Oh, picked up the throttle a little too early. Got another off track again. It doesn't matter
The track limits.
case of the rating, but trying to run this as clean as I can.
Get your elbows out and force the pass.
CrewChief thinks too highly of me, thinking that I can force a pass. Didn't mean to give him that much contact. Let him blow the inner loop.
Push. We might get third here.
Able to get by him. I don't think I gave him really a shot to the nose there going through the inner loop of the carousel, but got him to bite and drive the entry into the inner loop a little more aggressive, so that allowed me to be able to set up that pass through the carousel. So as long as I drive smart the rest of the way, no reason why I shouldn't be able to hang on to third. I can probably 3 to 4 more laps to go, something like that.
Well done, Jake. This is terrific. Exactly what we came here for. P3.
Trying to work on making sure I take the right angle across turn 1, but not slow down too much. 4.4 back to the 654. Don't think I'm going to be able to get to him. Just going to keep an eye on that to see more in relation to the kind of pace I'm running. Just under 2 seconds ahead of the 5, so should be far enough away that he can't really do too much with my draft. It's a little bit too much there through the inner loop. Just kind of let the RPMs slow the car down. Certainly was not the fastest way to get through there. Lost about half a second that time to the 653. Or 654, excuse me. Got the 18 up ahead, who's the 8 lap car.
That's 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. Your last lap time was at 110.53.
Kind of overshot turn 1 there.
0.34 off the pace.
The slow way down, just
off the pace.
just broke way too late to get to it, so gave up a ton of time both out front and out back. That allowed the 5 to close up.
Half your fuel left.
It's very possible he could get there. You can see how much I'm loading up the right side or left side tires based on the pressures on the dash, but flip side is there are a lot of faster right-handers through this.
About track limits. Keep it between the lines.
And avoid the 18 there. 5 was able to get by him a little bit cleaner, so that allows him to close up. Gonna have a battle again on our hands for 3rd and 4th. I'm sure he's gonna remember how we raced him. Probably repay that, so would not be shocked to get bumped or knocked out of the way. Just gotta try to drive the best I can. He just loses it off of turn 11, so no pressure there. 6 is caught up big time, but he's still almost 2 seconds back, so white flag this time.
Last lap, looking good for
As long as I don't overdrive anything, no reason why we shouldn't be able to finish 3rd. Just gotta quit doing dumb stuff like that. Certainly by far not my cleanest road drive, but Not horrific for GT3, I feel like, at least for how bad I could have been. I'm sure these setups are very, very conservative and very, very tight. They're meant for people of my skill level, not people of a high caliber. But I feel like it was a lot of fun, a lot of potential, so certainly something that I will probably explore doing, especially if you guys enjoyed watching this. I know some of these laps were not very exciting, running kind of in my own bubble. It's just kind of the way everything played out. Really had nothing for the 654 or the 070, but I felt like I minimized my mistakes. Tried to keep it as clean as possible. You guys with a short, quick, fun race to watch. I come across to finish third. So, picked up a few spots off of where we started, even if you just base it off of
Great drive.
starting fifth rather than starting seventh as we actually qualified, but starting fifth, you know, on the actual grid. Certainly not a bad race at all. Definitely wore out that left front, leaned on that a bit too hard. 78% there, 85, and then 91, 94. But yeah, certainly was a lot of fun. See what happened with the battle with the 5. Watch this from behind. This was, I believe, the lap that we had the contact. I think I was catching them up here through the S's. And then get the run out of the S's onto the backstretch. I know I made a bit of contact with them. Excuse me, it's going to be the next lap, actually. Okay, it'll be this lap. So we'll check this out while we're waiting for results, and then go look at those. Again, the results don't mean much. Overshot turn 1 again there. But he had been shooting it a little bit wider than I had, so that kind of helped me a lot to continue to gain on him. Definitely closing up here, using the draft. It's a bit of a bump right there. Square didn't really do too much to him. Yeah, he just overshot it. Like, I wasn't even anywhere near him. He just flat out overshot it. And then I don't think I actually touched him at all when I cut down inside of him. I think he just pushed wide. If I did, it was ever so slightly, but he was already headed out wide because of the line he took through the inner loop. So, yeah, that was the little bump on the backstretch. Honestly, in my opinion, I guess maybe that's my over background talking. That didn't affect anything. That didn't really do anything to him. So, you know, I don't really feel like that did anything in a sense. But, yeah, certainly besides that, it was you know, not a bad run at all. I think everybody should be done. We'll take a look at the results now, see how those went. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. You know, certainly a bit cleaner than the truck series race that I had. 1492 strength of field was 3rd out of 5, so it's kind of right where I belonged. Again, unofficial, so nobody was going to gain anything from an I rating or a safety rating standpoint, but you also weren't going to lose any, so yeah, finished 3rd after starting 7th. Technically, like I said, if you want to count the grid, finished 5th. 6 made his way all the way up from 26. 23 actually moved his way all the way up from 28 as well. So really good runs by them, able to move up quite a bit. It's about just over half a tenth off of the fastest lap from the 654. Quite a bit off on the average time. Let's see how many people were below us in terms of fastest lap. It's probably 7th or 8th fastest on the track, so not too bad overall. Felt pretty confident with that, felt pretty comfortable, enjoyed that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that as well. Feel free to leave comments, feedback, driving tips, you know, both for Watkins Glen or for GT3 or the BMW, you know, in general, or that car specifically. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that. If you want to see more, if you want to see official races of that in season 1 or season 2, 2022, I may look at doing that as well. Not sure if I do one of the 2 hour endurance ones or a sprint one or something. Kind of depends on what my schedule and time looks like. But if you guys want to see more of that and you enjoyed that, you know, a small taste of that, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know so I can kind of gauge on, you know, what you guys were liking out of this as well. I had fun with it, but obviously I mean that's what matters in the start. But I also want to put out things that you guys find enjoyable to watch as well. So feel free to leave any feedback, your suggestions, likes, dislikes, whatever. Love to hear from you guys in general, and hopefully we'll be able to get you some more enjoyable races the rest of this week. So until the next one, I hope all your laps are fast, your races are clean, and your finishes are good. Thanks for watching.